All right, let's dive in. We're going to take one of the oldest stories in the world, the one about the two brothers, and we're going to reframe it for what it really is. It's a dramatic, high-stakes anime arc. I mean, it's got everything: a tragic rivalry, a descent into darkness, and a cursed bloodline. This is the first betrayal. So, this is where our story ends, with a haunting cry coming from the earth itself. It's chilling, right? But to really get how we ended up here, we've got to go all the way back to the beginning. Every great rivalry has that one moment, that one spark. Well, for the very first brothers, that moment was a kind of divine test, an offering that would kickstart a journey of jealousy, rage, and betrayal. So on one side, you've got Cain. He's the farmer, a man who literally works the soil. And on the other, you've got his brother, Abel, the shepherd, who's out there with his flock. We're talking two completely different paths, different lifestyles, and, as we're about to see, two very, very different mindsets. And here, right here, is where it all goes wrong. Just look at the difference in their offerings. Abel brings the absolute best of what he has, the firstlings and the fat thereof. I mean, that's top-tier stuff. Cain, though, he just brings some generic fruit of the ground. You can already feel the massive gap in quality and in effort. The book of Joshua really spells it out for us. This is the detail that changes everything. It wasn't just any fruit, it was the inferior fruit. Cain didn't bring his best. He basically brought his leftovers. And this one single act of disrespect, it's what seals his fate. Can you just picture this scene? A brilliant, divine fire just descends from the heavens, a pillar of pure light and heat that completely vaporizes Abel's offering. It's this spectacular show of divine favor. And right next to it, Cain's offering just sits there, cold, untouched, rejected, for everyone to see. Ouch. And this is the exact moment the switch flips. Cain is filled with rage, wrath, as the text puts it. His face just falls. The shame, the jealousy, it all starts to bubble up and fester inside him. And trust me, this isn't just disappointment. This is the official start of his villain arc. So, that internal rage, that doesn't stay quiet for long. It spills out into an open field where all that simmering tension is just about to explode into a full-blown confrontation. The actual trigger for the fight is so simple, it's almost petty. Abel's sheep just wander onto Cain's freshly plowed land. But for Cain, a guy whose entire identity is tied to the soil he works, this isn't just some sheep walking on dirt. No, this is a personal violation of his domain. And it's being done by the very symbol of his brother's success. And Cain just immediately goes after him. You can just feel the fury in his words, right? What is there between me and thee? This is not about the sheep anymore. This is about respect. It's about ownership, and it's about all that jealousy that's been eating him alive. He is challenging Abel's very right to be there. But Abel, he doesn't back down one bit. He fires right back with this incredibly sharp retort. He's basically saying, you want me off your land? Fine. Then stop eating my meat and wearing the wool from my sheep. The battle lines are officially drawn. Okay, so the argument has escalated. The anger has peaked. We are now at the climax of this whole arc. The one single, irreversible act that is going to change the course of human history forever. And the weapon of choice here is just chillin'. It's not a sword. It's not some dagger. It's a piece of his farming equipment. A tool that's supposed to create life from the soil, now twisted into an instrument of murder. The irony is just staggering. This just captures the sheer brutality of it all. The text says he hastened and suddenly smote him. You can almost see it in your head like an anime scene with intense speed lines, just a blur of motion. There's no hesitation. In one explosive flash of rage, Cain takes the very tool of his trade and commits the world's first murder, spilling his brother's blood onto the very earth he was meant to cultivate. The deed is done. The ultimate line has been crossed. But the story is far from over. Now comes the fallout. Now comes the divine judgment, a direct confrontation with God himself. So when God asks where Abel is, Cain delivers one of the most infamous lines ever spoken. Am I my brother's keeper? It's not just a lie. It's a defiant, sarcastic lie to the face of the ultimate authority. There's zero remorse here, just pure arrogance. And the punishment? It is severe, and it is systematic. It's a three-part curse. Step 1, the very earth he works, the ground that literally drank his brother's blood, is now cursed against him. Step 2, his entire life's work is made useless. His farming will now only produce thorns and thistles. And step 3, he's condemned to a life of exile, a wanderer, forever.
So what about that famous mark of Cain? We always think of it as a mark of shame, right? But what the text says is kind of the opposite. It's a mark of protection. In this chilling, almost ironic act of justice, God makes sure that no one can kill Cain. He's forced to live out his entire sentence of wandering and suffering. His punishment isn't death, it's life.
Okay, so Cain's personal arc of betrayal and punishment is pretty much complete. But his actions, well, they have consequences that just ripple outward, creating a whole new, separate path for humanity. This timeline here, and by the way, AM just means anno mundi, or in the year of the world. It shows this huge divergence. You've got Cain, the wanderer, who eventually builds a city and starts his own lineage, but then God provides another son, Seth, and his descendants start to call upon the name of the Lord. So you've got these two distinct bloodlines, both born from this one tragic event. And the legacy of that first betrayal? It becomes terrifyingly clear. Cain builds his city, basically a monument to a bloodline founded on murder. And from this separation, corruption starts to spread like a virus. Humanity begins to rebel on a massive scale. They're forging idols from brass and iron, carving gods out of wood and stone, completely forsaking their creator to bow down to their own creations. The sin that started in one man's jealous heart, it's now infecting the whole world. Which brings us right to our final thought. God gave Cain a warning right at the beginning of all this. He said that sin was crouching at the door, but that Cain could rule over it. In the end, he failed, spectacularly. And it leaves us with the ultimate question of this entire arc, a question for Cain and for us. Are we the masters of our sin, or is it the master of us?